the broadcasts. Kindly read the description as well. And please like the broadcast. Then share it to all platforms that you can, to invite your friends and also friendly friends. And tell them to come, because Mayegun is live. And if you have done that, thank you. So, to those who are regular Templars on Mayegun's Diary Political, every day is a page in the chapters of abnormalities taking place in Nigeria. On Mayegun's Diary Political, the regular Templars knows the actors and the players, they call them, who are part and parcel of the ruinous system that the rogues have sustained so well for decades now. We know them by their names. We know them by their deeds. We don't care about their tribe, religion, ethnic connection, political class, or what have you. Because if the rogues destroying Nigeria are not identifying by their tribes, ethnic, and all that, they are so united. It's like an unwritten code. Their victims shouldn't be divided in treating them as who they are. And that is what Mayegun's Diary Political encourages, teaches every day as much as possible. So it can come as a storytelling, because you just don't read by headlines. You actually have to, in fact, if you even read the body of their nonsense right in the open, we have discovered that they have always been living out in the open most of the clues for most of their criminal activities. Now it depends on you. Which of them do you think you can ignore? And which of them do you have to take personal? In this instance, you are likely going to have to take everything personal before you can be motivated in standing up to these rogues. Right now, the button of self-destruction has been pressed by these guys. And I'm putting my money on them. That as they are already gearing towards their 2027 charade, the power play, the power struggle, where the people who are supposed to be the core factor in whatever it is they are planning, the people have become the least, if not inconsequential. We have seen political class, politicians holding political offices in Nigeria come out, especially those ones with the ruining party, the APC. They have boldly come out to gaslight not just the citizens, but they have came out to make bold statements. Statements like, if we do it years and nothing will happen. You know, despite the widespread angers, much as we can call it anger, you know, anger misdirected in most cases. Anyway, we believe that for the rogues who have captured Nigeria, for them to be destroyed, they would have to start the destruction within themselves. The political class, power united them, greed united them, self-centeredness, united them. And these things are what will also destroy them. But it is so unfortunate that they also have citizens in large numbers who are either miseducated, poorly educated, or socially conditioned to behave in a certain way. This particular part makes it easier for these rogues to reinvent themselves, recreate themselves, rebrand themselves, in order to present themselves as the saviors of the same victims again and again and again. They are banking on the poor education, especially civic education, responsibilities of citizens, responsibilities of the leaders, as it is well dictated, enacted, have been enshrined, that they call them, inside the real people's constitution, something that guides the action of the citizens, the led, and the leaders. Unfortunately, you don't have that. And what you have is the rebranding, recreation of these rogues. Repeating the same thing again and again, expecting a different result is considered as one of the worst symptoms of lunacy. It's like a mental problem. And coincidentally, there is, an NBS record that says that over 75% Nigerians are suffering from one mental disorder or another. Why won't they? Who will be subjected to the kind of brutality, generational suppression, oppression that people have inherited again and again and still be normal? You see, all this talk. They are just to prepare you for what is still to come, and then possibly help you position your thoughts as well as maybe direct your action, because you won't have to save these rogues in order to actually save yourselves. You would not have to save them. Yesterday and 2 days ago, it became kind of like a clash of the strange bedfellows. First, Garbage Shehu published a book that he called a tell-it-all of Buhari's government. He called it Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the headlines means, apart from what you read, there are things that you read just to be misled. The untruth, the internal bickering, the power struggle for relevance, control, even when Buhari was a vegetable in London, why they kept doling out different lies upon lies and blackmailing and gaslighting their citizens. Why the guy that was supposed to be the commander-in-chief was lying like a vegetable, dead on the hospital bed in London. Anyway, in that book, he invited their friends, those who are from their clan within the Buhari's circle when they were in power, as well as those they considered as friends within their APC and beyond, in which Boss Mustafa, the immediate past Secretary to the Government of the Federation of Nigeria, as one of the reviewers. Now that reviewing and a speech has created, or should I say has exposed, whatever it is they are hoping to remain buried, never to explode before their 2027 permutation. Now, let me explain that to you. Boss Mustafa, who was very much like a prominent actor in the destructive and murderous regime of Buhari, 2016 to 2023. He replaced Babashir Lawal, the professional grass cutter, the guy who used 242 million naira to cut the grass around the IDP camp in the Middle Belt. I'm talking about those displaced by the Boko Haram terrorists, those who survived, the victims of Boko Haram terrorism, living in the makeshift, uncompleted schools or abandoned schools in this part of Nigeria, right? So when Buhari came to power, he appointed Babashir Lawal as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to rehabilitate the victims of Boko Haram at the time under a Lantan. Hundreds of billions of naira was kind of like allocated to his office. They created a Northeast Development Commission. All of these and the money allocated disappeared. And one of those money that got probed by the Nigerian Senate at the time led by Saraki, of course. So in their probe, they discovered that Babashir Lawal, the secretary to the government of the Federation, used 242 million naira to cut grass around the internally displaced people's camp in northern part of Nigeria. And this was around Ran in Borno. In order to cover it up, again, he employed the service of the Nigerian Air Force, who decided to go and bomb the same IDP camp 4 times, although they call it an accident, a wrong intel and all that. Eventually, Buhari became sick, very sick, and he was flown to London. He didn't hand over power to his, he actually handed over power to his deputy on one of those occasions, right? And Pastor Ruga became the acting president of Nigeria. He was the one who eventually sacked Babashir Lawal, not without an arrangement. Arrangements like he could replace himself with anybody he liked. The person he appointed is Boss Mustafa, who became the secretary to the government of Nigeria under Buhari, and the one that actually served throughout the rest of Buhari's regime. Now, he was the deputy national chairman of the ACN in a merger that produced APC, and of course, produced the calamity Buhari. Now, fast forward to 2 nights ago. Before then, there has been different kinds of accusations and counter accusations, especially coming from the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis, the bad idiots, the bad stats. They are accusing the CPC faction of their merger in APC, that is the Buhari's faction, of being disloyal and not supportive of Tinubu, not like how they did when they knew that Buhari was a disaster. They still stood and defended him, but when it became the turn of Tinubu, they sabotaged him, but he defeated them. And now they are ganging up in a coalition to make sure that the same Tinubu is removed in 2027. Now, this has been going on behind the scene. They said Tinubu made Buhari. In fact, referencing this particular video, I'm going to use this one to take a break, okay? So I don't talk for the pastor, yeah? Right, so referencing the video of Tinubu in Abeokuta, this particular video.
Kò ní ìdí ká kọrin Ògúndé Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀wẹ̀ di bọ́ọ̀lù fàyàráyé gbá ó gbá wọn sísàlẹ̀ ó gbá wọn sódò. Ọ̀rọ̀ orin kọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀tọ́ ni. Ó tásìkò náà tá a máa gbà á. Ọmọ tó mówó wálé ni bàbá àti ìyá ẹ̀ máa yan rìn. Agbára yìí kò ń ṣe fún Òkè Ọya nìkan. Tí ò bá sí àwa èmi tí ń dúró wájú yìí tí ń lérí ogun. Tí ní òkè Buhari nìṣó ká máa bá lọ. Kò ní di president. Ó ṣe kìíní olùlẹ̀. Ó ṣe kejì olùlẹ̀. Ó ṣe kẹta olùlẹ̀. Ó tiẹ̀ sunkún lórí tẹlifíṣàn pé láyé òun ò tún rán mọ́. Mo dẹ̀ lọ bá ń Kaduna wa rán ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀kún kọ́ lélẹ̀. Àdúró tiẹ̀ wàá dẹ̀ wọlé. Nǹkan kan ní pé o ò ní fọ̀rọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá ṣeré. Ó dẹ̀ gbà. Àtijọ́ tó yẹ ti débẹ̀, mi ò gba mínísítà, mi ò gba contract, mi ì tọrọ ọbẹ̀, mi ì tọrọ gàrí, mi ì tọrọ fúra lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, mi ì dẹ̀ yàwó ń bẹ̀. Ó wá ní lọ́tẹ̀ yìí o, Yorùbá ló kàn. Tá a bá dẹ̀ sa Yorùbá náà, èmi ló kàn.
You remember that? Well, that was him addressing the APC delegates in Ogun State, where he categorically said he was the one who brought Buhari back. And it was that move that he promised him, because Buhari tried to be president in 2003, he failed. In 2007, he failed. In 2011, he failed. They were even mocking Buhari that despite his 12.5 million votes, he couldn't become president of Nigeria until Tinubu brought him. And he said, according to the agreement between them, after Buhari, it will be his turn. This was them during the time of their APC, Egbe formation. After Buhari, it will be Tinubu. After Tinubu, it will be Atiku. It is only Atiku that is trying to bridge the gap, like jump the queue. First, challenging Buhari. Second, challenging Tinubu. And he wants to challenge him again. Now, the Boss Mustafa gang, they've had enough of that. So they decided to use the occasion of a garbage show to tell the world exactly what happened. They said, Tinubu is just one local champion. That's not how he said it too. That's my own language. But that's how you're going to understand it, because since then, in fact, the way I'm going to say it right now, I believe that is actually the way Tinubu's gang have received it, because since last 48 hours, but hang on. Boss Mustafa said Tinubu is just a local champion. That Buhari was actually the bride that everybody needed at that time. Indeed, they said Buhari had 12.5 million votes ready. Jonathan from the Niger Delta had been doing everything to lock down the South around that time. So they believe that if Tinubu made deal with Jonathan would have gotten a second term. Buhari would have lost, and there would not have been APC. But that would be a wrong political permutation. So the fitting permutation is that let us push this Buhari. And in fact, Tinubu was going to be his running mate until the Sarakis and all that rejected that. But he was given the right of first refusal. That's how Pastor Ruga became running mate to Buhari. So they said it was just that little key that the 2015 election results, the credit of that should actually be given to Goodluck Jonathan. That's what Boss Mustafa said, not Tinubu. He said Tinubu's vote is insignificant because Ebere Jonathan was going to implement the electoral reform he signed, which was that for the first time, they were going to use the card reader. And the amount of accredited voters, if it doesn't match the amount of votes, vote cast, right? That simply means that that polling unit, the election there should be cancelled. They said that was what saved or made Buhari president. That Tinubu shouldn't be ascribing all of that to himself, because both Tinubu as well as the new PDP Atiku, combined with others who are part of the merger of APC, they say add all of their votes together, now just about 2.8 million votes. Because finally, the total vote of Buhari in 2015 was 15 point something million. And if you remove his 12.5, now 2.8 remain, putting Tinubu in his place without actually, calling his name. So significantly, that got to the loose people. What did they do? Plus the ongoing coalition, plus the Peter Obi's phenomenon. Although Onofunuga has returned back to Nigeria from Brazil, no one has told them, or he hasn't even shared with them, where is Kolu. BRICS summit in Brazil, in Rio, is over. But where is Kolu? We'll come back to that one. Onofunuga returned back to Nigeria. Apart from all the moves of El Rufaya and gang that they've tried to dismiss or pretend that it is inconsequential, so right now, the narrative up north, in northern part of Nigeria, is that Tinubu is an OTP, one-term president. And whatever propaganda they are going to push, Tinubu is gone. Now to Onofunuga, well, it's like imagination won't finish all of you. Who is gone? Kolu, gone.